Marathon, Greece, 490 BCE. King Darius I seeks revenge for Athens' recent aid at Ionia. 10,000 Athenians stood on the shore of Marathon in a strategic formation. On the other side, 15,000 Persian warriors. In the end, Athens stood victorious and King Darius sailed away in defeat. He was never able to enact his revenge, dying 3 years later. All his hate was left on his son and future ruler of Persia, Xerxes. This is what caused the battle. This is the start of the Greco-Persian Wars. This is the start of the Battle of Thermopylae. "480 BCE, 10 years later. King Xerxes is in power. His people call him the God King. Xerxes sails to Greece and plans to invade. He sends a messenger to the city-state of Sparta, offering them a chance of surrender. King Leonidas, enraged with this offer, kicks the messenger and a group of soldiers down a well. Insulted, Xerxes prepares his army. An oracle, or like a royal priest/fortune teller, tells Leonidas that he is going to die, and that Sparta will either lose its king or its freedom. Leonidas meets with Xerxes as the God King wants Sparta to join him. Leonidas denies this offer, and Xerxes gets mad and tells him the world will never know he existed. And Leonidas replies with one of the most famous lines in history. "The world will know that free men stood against a tyrant, few stood against many, and before this battle was over, that even a God King could bleed." He goes home and gathers 300 of his finest warriors. He tells them to say goodbye to his families as they are going to fight to the death. They set up camp at the pass and wait till the next day. The battle, day 1. When Leonidas made it clear to Xerxes that they weren't going to surrender, Xerxes launched his attack early next morning. The battle lasted all day, but the Spartans were victorious thanks to the geography of Thermopylae. When the Persians attacked the Spartans, they used their size against them by pushing them off the cliff. Around nighttime, Xerxes was getting very angry, and he sent his strongest troops to fight them. They were called the Immortals. Xerxes' personal bodyguard army, and the equivalent of today's special forces, were said to be stronger than the Spartans. However, this was proven false as the Greeks defeated all 10,000 Immortals with ease. By the end of the day, Xerxes was furious that they hadn't made any progress, and Sparta was victorious, leaving a pile of Persian bodies in their trail. The battle, day 2. The next day, Xerxes had no choice but to attack the front. It played out the same, except he got lucky. A Greek outcast named Ephialtes, who became famous for being the ancient Benedict Arnold, told the king a secret that only Greeks knew. There was another way around Thermopylae. The secret Anapia path. He offered to lead them through it so they could surround the Spartans. Xerxes didn't have another choice. He accepted the offer. The Phocians, who had been guarding the path the past few days, were unaware that the Persians were about to attack. The Persians wiped them away with ease. The battle, day 3. The next day, Leonidas was informed of Persian movement in the mountains. It soon became clear that they were going to be surrounded. A council meeting was called. Everyone wanted to retreat apart from Leonidas, who vowed to stay. In the end, it was decided upon that the Spartans would stay, the Thespians would stay, and the Thebans would stay. The Thebans wanted to retreat, but Leonidas didn't want them to leave, as he thought that they would betray them. As the others left, Leonidas instructed his soldiers to prepare their final meal, saying the famous line, "Eat hearty, lads, for tonight we dine with Hades." The frontal assault started mid-morning. 2 of Xerxes' brothers led the attack. The Spartans fought with so much force it was like a human tidal wave. They fought with no regard for their own lives. They fought until their spears were shattered, and then they drew their swords and kept on fighting. But the Spartans weren't invincible. Even though they fought like gods, they weren't gods. As the battle continued, and the Persian bodies piled up. So did the Spartan. Both of Xerxes' brothers died, but in the process, Leonidas was killed too. The Spartans had to fight back waves upon waves to get their king's body back. There were a few Spartans left, and it was at this time that the Immortals emerged from the path behind them. This is when the Thebans deserted to the Persian side. It was just how Leonidas had feared. With little men left, they tried and tried and tried, but the Spartans could not beat the Persians. They fought with whatever energy they had left in them. But it was all over for the Spartans. They had lost. Herodotus, a famous Greek philosopher, quotes that they defended themselves with daggers, those who had any left, yes, and with their hands and teeth. By the end of the day, the Persians stood victorious, and King Xerxes had Leonidas' head put on a pike as they marched forward into Greece. It is unknown how many Persians died in the battle, but it is estimated around 20,000. This was a huge blow to Xerxes. He was eventually defeated at the Battle of Salamis. That was Greece's last stand against the Persians, Athenians versus Xerxes. To this day, we still remember the heroic efforts of Leonidas and his men. Today, there is a lion statue showcasing the defiant words of Leonidas, "Come and take them." Even though they're gone, the Spartans are remembered in movies, games, books, and much more. Even though they're gone, the Spartans will be remembered throughout time. Spartan equipment. The Spartans had a wide variety of armor, weapons, and different fighting styles. Their main weapon was the dory. It was a 7 to 9 foot long spear. The butt of the spear, or the surrounder, was used as a secondary weapon in case the top part of the spear broke. The most important piece of Spartan weaponry was the shield, as it protected you and your comrades. Another secondary weapon was the zephos, and it's a sword-like blade that could slice through almost anything. They were equipped with a large variety of armor, including the helmet, made from pure bronze. This could protect a Spartan from almost any kind of head attack. Another piece of armor was the chestplate, or cuirass. The outside was bronze and the inside was leather. It protected a Spartan from getting stabbed in the stomach. The greaves, or nemides, were used as shin guards. Petrugus, or syringula, was a double-layer hardened leather flap that covered the groin. Bracers were wrist guards made of thick leather, used to protect and strengthen the wrist and foot. Finally, the tunic, or chiton. This was the basic item of clothing for all Greeks. Made from wool or linen, it was designed to be comfortable and easy to move in. Conclusion. The Battle of Thermopylae was a triumphant attraction, because the Spartans won 2 days in a row, but then they lost on the third day, and they were defeated by Xerxes. But they weakened the Persian army. This allowed the Athenians to later prevail at the Battle of Salamis. Xerxes dies a few years later, unable to exact his revenge on Greece. This was the Battle of Thermopylae. Fun facts. The word Leonidas means lion. Leonidas is said to be a descendant of Hercules himself. Today, Thermopylae is a big marshy plain, but 2,500 years ago, it was a 50-foot mountain.